Welcome to AniMirror, the podcast where the wisdom of the animal kingdom meets the depth of self-awareness.
We're your hostesses, Dr. Melissa Sell and Amy Michelle. Together, we explore the profound ways animals reflect our inner world and reveal the patterns shaping our lives.
Through the lens of the 5 biological laws of the Germanic healing knowledge, we uncover the deeper truths behind our experiences and how they can guide us towards healing and growth.
We mix a little woo-woo with biology. We're responding to the call of the wild, attuning to the frequency of nature that Dr. Halmer himself called quintessence. Whether you're curious about the underlying meaning behind your pets or frankly any animal's behavior, intrigued by nature's synchronicities, or seeking to break free from cycles of suffering, you're in the right place at the right time.
Each episode is an invitation to expand your awareness, discover new perspectives, and embrace the transformative power of the mirror animals and nature hold up for us.
So, come wildly curious and dare to open your heart in community out loud with us. And let's explore the fascinating interplay between the outer and inner worlds.
Welcome to the
AniMirror, the new frontier. Okay, welcome to another episode of AniMirror podcast. This one is slightly different. We're doing a live experience, what anyone would experience if they come into one of the live pockets, which we do. We're doing another round coming up soon. So Taylor has offered to do a live experience and a podcast, which is super special for us, and to really introduce everyone who's listening or viewing what the experience would be like. And what does that mean for us? It means we have no idea what's coming out. You present your case, your details, your symptoms, the things that you're witnessing, whether it's in an animal that you parent or that you're around or that you're volunteering with. It doesn't matter. It could be something, an annoying fly that comes into the room ever so often that has caught your attention. So, and we unfold. We go from GNM to Over the Bridge with AniMirror, and we just let it unravel through us with us. So thank you for your willingness. Welcome, Taylor Gehrls, to the podcast. We are your hosts, Amy and Dr. Melissa, and we can roll. So tell us a little bit about just a tiny bit of yourself. Where are you positioned people in their minds? Where are you in the state or in the states if you are? And then just kind of how did this come to be for you? How did you even say yes to the willingness to unfold this out loud?
Yeah, thank you for that introduction, Amy, and so excited to be a part of this session today. Like Amy said, my name's Taylor. I'm based out of Phoenix, Arizona. Recently made the cross-country move from Iowa. I was born and raised in Iowa and then moved out to Phoenix about 1.5 years ago. So it's been a big transition, but a really good one. I work in corporate America, and I have 2 AniMirrors that I'd like to bring today, 2 fun little pups that we brought with us on our move from Iowa to Phoenix. And I also brought along my boyfriend who made the move with me, and we live together with our 2 dogs. And I really just, ever since I got my dog, Winston, as a puppy, this would have been right before COVID at the beginning of 2020, I really started to see a lot of my mirroring, I guess, projection of different insecurities that I've had kind of play out in our dynamic. And I've gotten more interested in this field and kind of unraveling all of the threads that can go into that. So I was very lucky to cross paths with Amy to just connect more and really learn, especially as my boyfriend's dog has come into my life, what could all be working on behind the scenes there as well. So that's how I came to be here today, and really excited to dig into it more.
Thank you for joining us. So Winston and what's the other AniMirror's name?
Luna.
Luna. So Winston and Luna. So tell us a little bit about, this is exactly what we would do in a live. So I don't personally, we've worked together outside of AniMirror, and I didn't know that this was even coming up. And just to throw in a fun coincidence, I have a Winston in my life recently that I've been walking. So I kind of always go, oh, there's a Winston coming in, but I never know if it's just a, just a kind of fun hangout walk, or if it's, something coming in the future. So tell us a little bit about what you've been witnessing, experiencing with either or both throughout.
Yeah, for sure. So I'll start with Winston. He has been my little child since I got him back in 2020. He is very, especially going through the puppy stages, very independent, almost like that cat-like personality. Also can be pretty stubborn, and we've kind of worked through some of that dynamic. And I will say, pretty sensitive as a dog too. He can kind of get freaked out by little noises or like a leaf on the ground, and can have a very sensitive digestion too. So those are some of the themes that I know are some insecurities that I have that I see play out in him. But we've really had a beautiful relationship, I think, ever since, working through those things that do come up. But since I've gotten him as a puppy, and then now he is 5 years old. And then it would have been the fall of 2022. I met my now boyfriend, and his dog Luna came into our lives. So Winston is a smaller Shiba Inu. He's about 35 pounds. And Luna is a German Shepherd Pyrenees mix and about 100 pounds. So they have a fun dynamic between him being pretty small and her being pretty big. And I will say that they get along really well together, which is great, but they do have a bit opposite personalities. So Luna is a bit more high energy, a bit more aggressive. She was rescued when she was younger, so I think there's a little bit of trauma there. But very much just kind of like barreling through life, whereas Winston is a little bit more reserved, like I said, a little bit more skittish and nervous for new experiences. So they have that fun dynamic. But I guess the biggest thing that is coming up that I wanted to bring to the session today is uh, just the ways that mainly Luna has just brought up some different feelings in myself, being that true AniMirror since we met when I started dating my boyfriend, and kind of just digging into that relationship. And I'm sure there's a lot with how it plays with Winston too, but some of the things I struggle, I guess I would say, is with bringing Luna into our dynamic that Winston and I had. I feel like there's this perceived sense of kind of like limitation, and it's bringing up some resistance in me too, with Luna being that bigger, high energy dog. She is a lot more to maintain than I was used to with Winston. She drools like all over the house when she's drinking water. She brings in a lot of dirt from being outside. There's a lot more hair around the house. So just from like a even having a clean home perspective, it feels like I can never truly get it clean, and just feeling like this burden of having a lot to maintain there. With her being like a little bit more, or I guess a lot more high energy, just feeling, especially in the mornings, I get this resistance where I'm still groggy when I wake up in the morning, and she's just ready to go for the day. She's all excited and like has a great personality, but it just like triggers me almost in this resistant way of just wanting to slowly coast into the morning. And we have these hanging blinds in our bedroom where she'll whack with her tail and make really loud noise. And when I'm putting on my shoes to go out for a morning walk, just whack me in the face with her tail and things like that. So just these small little things that come up where she's right, not meaning any harm. She's excited for the day, this great bubbly personality, but these little triggers within myself. She likes to bark a lot at nearby noises or things going on outside of the home, which brings on a little bit of embarrassment on my end, especially if we're not there always to catch it right away or try to redirect her. I feel like I'm embarrassed with my neighbors on how loud she can be and how much of a disturbance she can be. So there's some feelings coming up with that as well. And then there is another piece with her not doing well with other dogs too. So kind of circling back to that limitation of feeling like we can't, or I can't take her out as much because there's that limitation of not feeling like she would do well with other strangers or dogs. And so, like, if I just wanted to go hang out at the coffee house, I could bring Winston, but I couldn't bring Luna. So then there's that sense of guilt or feeling like I can't, have my normal routine or do the things that maybe I would like to do. So those are kind of the feelings and things and just rolling through my mind that are coming up right now. But I don't know if there's a certain one that we could dig into further, but I'll kind of leave it at that for now.
Wow. Yes. I get this because I have two. They're similar to German Shepherds. They're Shiloh Shepherds, and we recently adopted a Pyrenees for kind of protecting the land here. And so I understand these personalities. And yes, and there is a demandingness. There is like this energy. There is this, they shepherd. They want to be with you all the time, underneath your feet, like in your business. And yeah, I definitely myself went through kind of a period of just like feeling oppressed a bit by the energy, by the needs. And the getting to that place of embracing rather than resisting. Because like, yes, the resistance of like, I can't just chill. I can't just like, or I tell myself that I can't. I say, because you are this way, I can't, start my morning slowly. I can't just like go and meditate. And I was like, ooh, is that 100% true? Is this, guilt that I feel? Well, yeah, they would like to go outside and be, playing and running around all day long. Do I need to do that in order for them to be happy? Do I have to have this internal sense of guilt if I'm not doing that constantly? And I think it's like, okay, here you are in my life. Here you've come, along with boyfriend, and we have integrated you, but I still have these resistances, these places I'm saying, no, I don't like this. No, I can't have what I want and you at the same time. I can't have the type of lifestyle, the coffee shop, and, all of that, because, it's a similar thing. It's like they're not coffee shop dogs. They're not gonna just chill and sit at your feet. They have a different job. They have a different purpose. They have a different role. And like kind of even just getting into like the breeds and how they shepherd. And even like the livestock guardian, like the Pyrenees, she behaves differently than they do. They kind of all have their own little unique things. And so respecting and having regard for like what you're programmed to do and giving them those jobs and just noticing, what does this bring up in me? What's this resistance here? Who else in my life has ever made me feel like I can't do what I want to do? Is this a mirror of some other relationship from my early life experience that is like, oh, here it is again. I can't have what I want, or I can't live, like, oh, I get embarrassed. Okay, who have you ever been embarrassed by, before? Who have you felt like, oh, I can't have what I want, or I can't have like the chill lifestyle that I'm looking for because of this aspect? Do you find that there's a mirroring to anything in your early life or any other relationships?
That's a really good question. I don't know that, like, just as you were talking, the kind of ping of my dad came up to me, and I don't know if the dynamic is, there are some nuances I think that are different, but I will say my dad liked to kind of poke fun at me or didn't quite understand, I think, a lot of like my sensitivities as a child. And so that just kind of came up as it could be a little bit similar with what I'm seeing now with Luna, and just even her dynamic with Winston too, just yeah, kind of, and he would just kind of maybe poke fun at me for different things as I was growing up. And again, me being that sensitive child, I would like internalize a lot of those things and probably interpret them different than how he meant that. But that could be one I could see. I'm always trying to do the work on and healing some aspects of my father and mother relationship. So I know that could definitely be one.
Yeah. So yeah, like just looking, okay, who's made me feel this type of way before? Is there something there? Is there something to observe, to see from that other lens? And then also, where am I like her? In what ways do is there anyone that could be feeling the way I'm feeling about her, about me? Is there something, because even like getting up in the morning, it's like, ooh, do I, kind of rush people out of bed also? Do I, hurt, if I feel rushed by the dogs, is there any way in which I am doing that to someone else? Is there this, again, the mirror comes to show you anything you need to see, that is something from someone else or something within.
That's really good insight too. I was actually just having a conversation with my boyfriend this morning as we're on the morning walk with the dogs. He made a comment about how prior to meeting me, he wouldn't talk for like the first hour in the morning after waking up. I'm always like, let's go on our walk, let's take the dogs outside and let's talk while we're walking. And so that is a really good piece to kind of flip it and see how I could be kind of having that dynamic with others from that other lens too.
Yeah, what Melissa just hit on, which you are seeing or hearing or feeling, is the next layer nugget is you could dive in. Like the second you gave the timeline. So Winston, the male, is with you, and then the male human, the dad, comes with the female. And so you've got like this polarity and this, I just saw this infinity sign. What goes around comes around, but it's not in a negative. It's wherever I am, wherever I go, there I am. As above, so below, as within, so without. So we can say, oh, it's this story and this story and this story. That's one layer. Is yes, I was raised this way, or this was my dynamic with, and then of course it's come home to roost, for pun intended, AniMirror pun intended, and here it is in my house, and now I'm looking at it, and what I kept hearing is this wheel of judgment, self-condemnation. If I feel guilty, and you mentioned that feeling, that word, it comes up a lot, just kind of synchronistically, I guess, in the experiences, in what animals show us. They shepherd, Melissa's phrase, they shepherd. They're in the word shepherd is she and her. They're here to awaken the feminine, at least that's what I'm hearing. Shepherd you, shepherd the receiving, shepherd the joy of receiving, just what would it be like to not have a plan in the morning? I know there's things like job, time I have to be there, but this extra time, because there is time. It's how we limit it with our minds, how we play with it. So she's coming to shepherd you, to move you around. Well, what happens? Oh, well, I don't like this feeling. I didn't instigate it myself. Kind of like, wait a minute, who are you to give me my plan? No, I have a plan. And then of course we have, we have the phrase, we plan, God laughs, right? So here we go. We have the plan, dog laughs. No, 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 I have a different plan. Here's my whip, which I call, the tail. The tail goes whipping, the blinds are open. It's a new day. We get to do it all over again. What's happening today? What's fun? And when we can't receive it in that moment, I am 100%, this is like full front AniMirror experience for me. If I cannot receive it, my sensitivities go into lockdown. Whoa, 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 hold on. And then what happens is that immediate embarrassment, shame, feeling of guilt, I project it out, which is the AniMirror experience. I project it out. This is not okay. And then I see that I also project it out to the boyfriend, meaning it's not his fault, but wait, something that I'm doing is wrong. And then of course he tells me about it on the walk. So my condemnation out comes right back around. Oh, I'm judging myself. something's wrong with me. Something's not right. I don't fit in a box. What box should I fit in? No box. No box. We're just here to, whip our tails around and have joy. What if we focused all of our time on joy? Even if it meant, well, the joy is in this box called corporate work today, or the joy is in this box called I'm going for a walk. Do I need that extra person to come with me, or can I just follow, the shepherd, the dog god, who literally is like, come out, fresh air, hair a mess, I don't care, the plan. This is the plan. This is the plan. And if we can invite that in, just like you did, like the evidence is here, you are willing to have this unfold right before your eyes here today with us, as we do. We receive the moment. We have no idea what's going to happen. And now you have a shepherd in your life that came in, you called in, and to say, okay, what would my life be like if I was shepherded by something grander, but that is of me and within me? What if I just let the guilt, just for a moment in time, let it go? What if I said, oh yeah, okay, the plan is different, even if it meant I'm staying in bed longer, and you're here, come in bed, or you're here, let me give you love. Thank you for waking me with joy. It's, there's other options that we could choose with our mind, but there's a little snippet in there that said, or a little, the higher nugget, or whatever the words would say, oh, I'm waking up with a dog that is full of joy. That's just like, come on. Yeah, I know, but that's not my plan. No, but come on. Come on. Can't help it. Let's get dirty. Look at the drool. What if we could be all of us in all the facets and all the things we do that are wacky, that we try to fit in a box? And, this is me. And then we've talked about it in so many different ways in other podcast episodes of the concept of the flying constellation in GNM. But really, it's just the conflicts aside that make the flying is, I'm all the nuances of it. Mary Poppins, the flyers have magic. The dogs come with magic. All of us do. And so if we took that perception shift and said, F the plan, because it's not working, because I'm not at peace. And Melissa always brings this up, what is the path of peace? What would it be for you? Is it to stick to the schedule? Okay. And then the path of peace means I'm not going to care about what comes to interrupt my path of peace. I'm just going to invite it in, or I'm just going to completely, say, I'm going to be with you in a minute because I need to do this because it brings me to my path of peace, or screw the plan. Show me what path of peace looks like today. So there's options to play with to help release what I hear in me out loud is self-condemnation. I can't fit in. I have to do all these things. And so when I start to judge, I start to control. And when I start to control, it's already projected out. And eventually you go on a walk and it comes right back around, and you're like, dang it. Oh, no, I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this. But this is the beauty of this experience, is we get to see it. Why? Well, because we asked to see it. And then if we see it, we're aware of it. And then we can invite something new in to shift it. So Luna coming into the house, and her name is Una, Spanish for one. We are one. This is me. I invited in something new about me it's not new. I haven't danced with it lately, we could say. Oh, how does that all sparkle around in your awareness at this moment?
Yeah, I love that. I feel like there are a few different things that were coming up for me as you were talking. I definitely feel like control is a reoccurring theme of, just trying to control different areas of my life. And then when I get in that mode, I'm just like living from my shoulders up and just like thinking so far ahead and not being present within the moment. So I love what you were saying about like just waking up with joy and allowing those things to come in if needed. I also think there's an aspect just in setting up for this call and just observing, the dynamic with Luna that I've had of, I know I have some inner wounds around being seen and being heard and just really allowing myself to take up that full feminine energy. And so I think there's also a teaching from her in really like just allowing yourself to be big, to just be in others and be heard, be loud. It's okay to be messy, just that permission and acceptance, I think. It's just, I have to take that time in that moment to reframe in my head rather than, default to those initial feelings that come up, because I think to both of your points with the shepherding and just guiding me forward, I think she is continuing to teach me things about myself and just allowing her to do that for me.
Be as big as the moon, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. To have that permission, I felt that in me completely as you were saying that. It's imagine being, and we say and being in public, but being who you are at home, even just who you are at home by yourself. And then you bring in a person who's now observing you. And so we go into, and this is just the psyche, we go into, well, can I be all of me with this person? Okay, then I let that person in. And now when the door opens, and this is Winston and Luna, this is the dynamic that I hear. Which version of me, all of it is me versus, personalities and identifications, but which version do I choose to be? And so we go out in public now, past the door, and now there's a lot more people who are observing me, but they're all me. And they only will observe me in the way that I think they will if I have already done that to myself. And there might be some defrags, that happen, like, oh yeah, oh yeah, I can feel that, that look that I'm perceiving is condemnation might be, wow, they're having so much fun. I wish I could. Like that's a part of that thought, system also. So there's layers, and so they're dynamic in public. Like Winston can behave like me. And then if we invite Luna in, well, who knows? The moon moves women's cycles. I mean, this could be a total nightmare, right? But it's, well, what would it be like if we were all just as big and bold as the moon, to be free that way? I think that's really underneath there is I want to be free to be whatever I choose to be that day, that moment, and that it's okay no matter what. And here we are in the times. And oh, by the way, I didn't say Taylor's an Aquarius also. So we have the three kind of Aquarians here on the call, which is just synchronistic. But this age of be all, like the mind is what is the mind is the commander. It can be limiting or can be complete freedom. And to be able to be all versions at all in any moment as a Disneyland choice rather than something's wrong and you're going into the next cell because you've misbehaved. Now I have to punish you myself. So Luna, it sounds like the invitation is let it all go. I'm going to shepherd you through this, and there's going to be some growing pains, but for her, it's okay. It's okay to enjoy my water and slurp. Like, have you ever had something so juicy that you're eating, or chocolate cake, and you're just like, oh my God, this is so good? Or as we were kids, sloppy joes, they were all down the hands. And as kids, it's okay. But as adults, oh no, 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 no. Where's the napkin? And no, don't put a bib on. Oh, bibs are only allowed in the lobster, when you're eating lobster. Instead of just, what if we were free to experience all of the things that we came into this form with, all the senses in every moment? And yes, as a parent of four German little ones, all the hair and oh God, and then Chelsea, my partner's dog, came and it was the whipping of the tail and leaves and all this, and but she was full of joy, just like it sounds like Luna. Like, can you let go, Amy? I don't know, because I'm so used to fitting in a box that was never mine. Like I'm in the ride and I'm strapped in, but I don't know how to get out. It's like Shawshank Redemption. What do I do when I free myself? It's a whole new world. Thank God. So it's like unbridled joy trying to burst through. And just let's cram it back in because this doesn't feel comfortable because I've been conditioned. And when I'm conditioned, I condition. So,
Yeah. I remember too, in other conversations, we've had Amy talking through German New Medicine, just like the reframe that you gave me too, of especially with being seen, where I perceive people as like judging me or um, kind of, projecting those insecurities, but just allowing yourself to like be marveled at or like imagine that people are, like you said, they're having so much fun or they're doing XYZ, and just being able to like switch the perspective there. And it's so interesting too, like when I observe certain behaviors of Luna versus like when my boyfriend does, and he'll, just has a great way of seeing like the positives and just encouraging her joy and things like that. And so it's just really all how I am again projecting that onto her, but how I can kind of call in more of that positive perception back on myself too.
can't avoid it. It's come in the home. I mean, you can kick it out. We have that option, right? But it sounds like it's the other version. It's a maybe, a lighter version arriving and saying, "Oh man, I can't do that other one anymore." Like, that's where I've arrived. I can't do that anymore. I could just but yeah, it's a choice. It's a choice. Just like your choice and willingness to be here in this moment with us. It's a choice. And catching it maybe, or receiving it back to the shepherd, what Luna is offering all of us is that, and we've it's funny, we keep kind of circling back to this in a lot of these conversations, the weave of, can we receive? What would it be to receive? Meaning receive the thought and action without having to do anything first. Like, I don't have a plan. My plan is the plan. Show me, Luna, guide me. What would it be like to spend a day? I think there's a movie like that, but I don't know if there's a movie like that with animals yet, where you say, what would the day be like if it was a yes day to the animals? What would we be doing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's one with human parents and children, but similar theme. What would it be like? How would it be? What if I could just receive that without judgment and without a plan? What would my life be like for that one day? And then from that spark, who knows what shifts? Who knows? That's the willingness to move through it. Yeah, to be the receiver of. I mean, it's what we're doing here. We have no idea. We don't come with the answers. I mean, I know we know the phrase, the answers are within us. We put it out onto the table, we offer it up, and then it just starts to shape through us. How do we, and it shapes through our choice. How do we choose to receive this? Oh no, I'm not going to receive that right now. I'm going to put that there. Okay. Or, oh, that feels good. I'm going to, that's it. And for me, choice. How do I choose to see Luna or Winston? Is there anything about Winston that, with Luna or just Winston in general, that you want to plop onto the stove
Yeah.
here?
Yeah, kind of another component too that kind of piggybacks on what you were saying about choice. I think my interpretation of another dynamic that's come up is around uh, holding boundaries too. And because I know I can be a type who's a bit more submissive and can be persuaded different ways. But ever since we've moved here to Phoenix, Luna has been trying to hump Winston more. And so I think there's something with like a boundary piece there, or curious for your interpretation of that too. But that's just like another behavior that's kind of come up recently as well.
Are they fixed, unfixed, the dogs?
They're both fixed.
Oh, they're both fixed. Okay, so yeah, so here we have this expression of, is this domination? Is this I am trying to mark my territory by the humping? And what about, so you said specifically since the move, was there any difference in the space they had access to, more or less, after the move?
A bit less. Yeah, we moved from a smaller house in Iowa that did have a smaller backyard to now we're in an apartment here. So it's a similar square footage, but now we have to walk them to the park to run around. We don't have access to the backyard anymore.
Okay, so that certainly, so okay, what would something about that shift wasn't as much of this behavior happening at the old location. Now we're here. And I need to mark my territory. I want to be the dominant one. I want to say this is more my space. Because was it Winston in the house before that Luna came into, and then we moved together to Phoenix? Is that how that went?
It was actually we all moved into the house together.
Okay, so it's always been everybody's home.
Yeah.
It's not like someone was here first and now, oh, now I have a chance to get one up. Okay, so that's interesting with yeah, so the female trying to dominate over the male. Okay, there's just that dynamic. And seeing is there any bit of that? And again, holding that bound.
She'll come back. It's all part of it. She's holding a space boundary, you see. Here we go.
There we go.
Lost you for a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know if you caught that. I was wondering if you are Winston in the scenario or Luna.
Yeah, that's a great question. I do feel there are times where just like trying to think through my relationship with my boyfriend too, of where, we try to get each other to maybe do something that we don't necessarily want to do, or persuade each other, or almost subtly make each other feel guilty about something. But I kind of feel like it goes both ways. Yeah, I'll have to think about that. I initially thought it was like I could see myself being more of that Winston energy, where I was feeling like in the place of having, my boyfriend cross boundaries, or even work filling that role too. But I could even, almost see it flipping the other way too, just based on what Amy had previously shared as well.
You brought up the word limitation earlier. Limitation is a boundary. So it's swirling in your consciousness, limitation to speak to you're limited. I can't go to the coffee shop because of Luna, for example, not exactly, but, because she doesn't fit into she doesn't fit into my limitation, which is we behave when we're out in public. And she's trying to mark her territory, and she's marking the path of ease is to mark the smaller dog. So I'm just curious that just to kind of land that, but also a question, have you noticed, is there a track? Like, in G&M, we talk about the tracks. Is it a certain time of year? Is it now that you've been in Phoenix, I think over a year? Is it a certain time of year? Does it a certain month? And then you start to kind of get the nuances of this picture. And then as you know, AniMirror now, well, what happened that I just experienced? And is this the reflection of this track for me? And just in my own household, Phoenix, the youngest, he goes into heat. He's not, neutered, and he goes into heat and his cycle. And I narrowed it down to one day. And then we started to ask each other, what is this for us? Because while he has a biological function to procreate, he doesn't have that option. So he chooses the path of peace, ease, to do this. And he does it not necessarily not only to stuffed beds and animals, he does it to his brother, to his body. And we're like horrified by it. And also we took, just a step out, like, not judge it at all. Be curious. What is the scene I'm witnessing? And what if it isn't a boundary? It might be, but, put a boundary. Okay, maybe it's limitations and boundaries. And okay, from the G&M perspective, I'm trying to mark something, my territory, or maybe it's a sexual conflict. I don't know. We don't know yet. Maybe it's one of those, or all of those. And what if it doesn't mean what I think it means? And so now I start to say, okay, so it's this day, or it's this week, or it's this month. And then is this related to me somehow? meaning, did I experience something either recently or in my life in this month throughout my life, or this, these 3 months of my life? That's how we start to kind of piece together all the puzzle pieces, and then you land on something and you say, oh, and all of a sudden that symptom that you're witnessing will transition. It will move through as soon as you know what you're watching on the screen. So I don't know if that, if offhand, is it happening all day, every day? If that's a no, then you say, okay, well, when is it happening? When am I witnessing this? And then you start to just keep notes, mental notes, or in your phone. Oh, she's doing it again. Okay, what time of day is it? Is there a smell? What season are we in? That kind of thing. Are you aware of anything of that yet for her?
I know it's mostly in the evening, like before, when we're kind of the hour before, I feel like we're starting to get ready for bed and go to bed. But other than that, I don't know that I have observed any like trends as far as certain months or days of the week. So that's definitely something I can take back just to track a little bit more closely and even bring back to our next live.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, what is it in me and my relationship? Maybe you just brought up right before bed, and that's when the humans go to bed together, and that's the traditional story, potentially. I don't know. Is there a thought on the table about, moving into the next phase of our relationship? Like, those are all the little things that are part of it. Am I in, what's the word? Deliberation about it in my mind, about, the next phases of my relationship. All of this is part of right before. It's like this moment right before bed. And in German New Medicine, that time frame, it could be, although it may not be in this scenario, but but that's sort of like 9, 10 o'clock to, like, the 3, 4 o'clock. This is when we go into the kind of the crisis, the healing, everything starts to show up. So it's kind of interesting to just track and say, oh, is it only at that? And then what time? The time might be important, might not be. You just start to see if you see any, narrow down the field a little bit. And you ask yourself all the questions, including her. And I don't know if we've talked about muscle testing, but you can also muscle test, like, what is this about? Is there a conflict? Is it a sexual conflict? Are you showing me something about, receiving? That's a lot of masculine energy in a feminine dog, in a female form dog. So, interesting. There's the flip again of shepherding and receiving, feminine versus masculine. And it's in the story form, but it's just to add a little bit more of, oh, what would it look like if she was receiving? Might not be what we're thinking, but it could, but that's might be the twist here, is she's doing a lot of the doing and doing the masculine things, the controlling, the limiting, all the things. What would it be if it wasn't that? Well, I'm looking at that now. So what is this for me? Yeah. You take it in for food for thought in the mind without judgment. Just, oh, that's curious. Interesting. I mean, we don't even have the opposite sex. It's just Phoenix is just humping his brother. Well, what is this about? Well, we narrowed it down to a day. What is this day about? So we look at the two people who are observing this. What is this day about? And the moment I asked that question, it was like, oh, it's everything. I said, oh, well, I don't know what it is. What is it? And we start to unravel through, oh, for me, which doesn't really necessarily make sense. Oh, well, this is right around his former, Phoenix used to be Nikki. It's right around his adoption day, his birthday. Well, that's interesting. What does that have to do with anything? I don't know. And then, what does it have to do with the other person observing it? So if you have another person you can work with, like, meaning your partner, what do you think? What is it about for him? Maybe he doesn't care about it at all. Just curious, you bring in all the dynamics, and then you can muscle test. What are you showing me, Luna? What do I need to know about this? And I don't know if you're comfortable muscle testing, but lots of ways to do it. And, we can walk through that off screen, off camera, but that's it. Like, that's where you say, okay, I need to do something and I don't know what to do and I don't want to do it the old way. Okay, here we go, Luna. let me ask some questions. And then quickly you realize, oh my, she's got something to say. And I'm ready to hear it because I took that, a new step of asking her what you're showing me instead of, ruminating. That's one little tool we can use to ask.
Okay, yeah, very fascinating. A lot of good takeaways there, especially, dynamic with the boyfriend and even the feminine versus masculine energy. So I will definitely, a lot of just ideas populating around in my head and would love to follow up there.
Right? It's like, could you be showing me that really? And yeah, like that willingness just to, like Amy said, looking at the track, looking at the timing. Oh, this is curious. What is this? Where is this leading me? And it's remarkable. It's so creative, I find. I'm just so like, I marvel at these animals and the creative way in which they, through their own, expression will show me something that I'm like, really? Wow. I mean, it's just jaw-dropping, truly phenomenal to get you to see something. And it seems like it's just about you guys. And it's like, no, of course it isn't. It's about everyone. They're experiencing one another.
I love it. Experiencing one another. Even Luna, the one, back to the one.
Mhm.
And there she is. Everyone experiencing one another.
Yes, it's just
Rolling it back to
fascinating to
Luna.
me with
Yeah.
all of the different animals and their interactions, and just to like, is there something here? If there's something funny going on, it's like, what could this show me?
Mhm.
How funny would that be? And I asked the same question here, even though it's a different dynamic, in the relationship, as far as like intimacy and whatever. But we both said, well, are we like, is someone in their cycle here? Like, is he responding because he's feeling the energy and he doesn't know what to do because biologically he's responding to it? Like, even that, the nuances of how funny, instead of like, ah, this is horrifying, we laugh and we say, okay, what what is this about? We're never bored. I'll tell you that, especially, you brought in Luna and her energy, like that's what it's like all the time. Whether it's our dog or dogs or we're out and about and something happens, that's always that's the premise of this, or the screen is me. So take it in when you want to. That's really, it's an invitation to take it when you want to, receive it when you want to. And when you don't, give yourself grace. I'm not ready yet. I don't want to yet. Okay, well then I'll just keep showing you until you are, or until I need to bring in another aspect of the story, and then you're ready to see that. Very much like our own bodies. The body is talking. Are we listening? The body's adapting. Well, I don't want to look at this little thing yet. Wait. Let me wait till 5 more come in because I can't right now, and it's fine. It's fine. It's part of the adventure. When we're ready, we will, and that's it. We will. We are willing, as you are here. Oh, thank you. Thanks for joining us. Anything you want to drop in before we close up for this experience here with you?
Yeah, I know this might be a bigger conversation, but just another interesting little connection between Winston and I that has been kind of an uncovering recently. So back in December of 2022, I believe. So it was right when it was a few months after I met my boyfriend, but things started getting a little bit more serious, and we were talking about moving in together and just like our more of our immediate future. I, with a snack wrapper, trying to multitask, accidentally cut my left eye, and it was really painful. Glad my eye is okay and everything, but that's kind of flared up again, like reoccurring since I've had that happen. Especially right when we moved to Phoenix, it flared up a lot. It's been pretty okay since. But then just this past December, Winston started getting like some redness and swollen in his left eye. And we got some drops from the vet, and they helped. And then probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago, it started coming back again, that same eye, like redness, itching, flaring up. And we used the drops again and it helped, but I'm just wondering what might be going on with the connection there with the left eye. So that's the last note I'll leave on.
Was that left for you also?
Hmm.
Okay, super interesting. And so as you were visioning your future together, and this visual, like, why would I injure myself right here? Are you right or left-handed?
I'm right-handed.
Right-handed. So the left side is like your mother-child side, So as I'm seeing a potential future, am I seeing, a family together? Am I seeing something like that? Is that like a topic of conversation? Is that something, obviously when you're talking about getting serious, with a romantic partner, it's like that is one of the things that is typically being considered, and is that something that I'm still seeing? Am I visually separated from that? Is that like somewhere further than I would like it to be? Would I like it to be closer? Do I want it to be farther? How am I feeling? How's the partner feeling? And what is Winston perhaps, as the mirror showing you with this eye thing? So I would look into that conversation, like, again, future of the relationship, are we, moving forward in a certain direction? And for me, is it on the timeline I want it to be? What is it for the boyfriend? Things like that. That's the first place I would look.
Yeah, that's great insight. I know there's a little bit of mismatch between how we are kind of planning our future, with the partner maybe wanting it to be a little bit quicker than it's happening. And I'm just good with where we're at right now. So I think that could definitely hit the mark there.
Yep. And talk to Winston. That definitely, I think doing the muscle testing is like, is this eyeball thing? Is this about this dynamic or this situation in the relationship? You'll see if you get a yes. That'll kind of get you more clarity.
Yeah.
There's a nuance he wants you to know for you, as you're diving in. Assuming he's mirroring you, you could do that, but you could also test it. But assuming he is, okay, you're showing me this. And again, tracking, when does it flare up? Well, it flared up 2 weeks ago. What happened 2 weeks ago? Was there a conversation about our future again 2 weeks ago? Or was there resistance to it? Or did I have a thought about it? Or did I watch a movie and that theme was in there and I went, oh crap, or okay, or, it's that where he literally is your clock and in all the ways showing you like, am I ready for this? I'm not ready for this. And oh, 2 weeks ago. Okay, what do you want me to know from 2 weeks ago? Is you're observing it, so you're aware. It's kind of putting the pieces together and saying, oh, interesting. And yes, there was the dynamic of the wrapper that there was that action. But if that was not tied to something like the track, then it would not have, it just wouldn't have been a thing. But it was kind of the necessary tool I needed to create this, to then have Winston, to then have this conversation, to be, oh, okay, yes, the candy wrapper was my tool to get to the place of recognition or awareness, to say, okay. And it's, if you pull out of the story completely and without any judgment, it's not him against me or me against him. It's just, okay, all of this is on the table. What is it that I want, right? What is it I want to see? What is it I don't want to see? And from there, what is it about? And you can dive further, kind of like we did in the beginning with Luna. Well, where does this come from? What am I projecting out? A part of me is pressuring me. Maybe not true in words, but I'm feeling that. Well, isn't that what Luna's doing in the morning when she's pressuring you out of your plan, at your kind of box? Well, this is what I want to do. This is my schedule. So it's kind of interesting. It just keeps swirling around, the snow globe. And when it lands, okay, I see that. So it's not about him and it's not about her. It's about me, my psyche. What do I choose and how do I choose to perceive it? And however I perceive it, I'm projecting it. So what if it wasn't anything like I thought? What if I could create it out of thin air and I could shift everything in front of me without having a conversation with anyone else? Like, they don't have to do anything. It's just me. What do I want to see on the screen? Really, truly, it is what this is all about. how do I choose to see this? And it takes it takes what you already have. It's your willingness to show up and look at the screen, and then have, you know, the mirrors that are easy for you. Say, oh, okay, I see that. Okay, okay, okay. And then Luna and Winston, what if we could change our complete reality? What would it be like? What if I could have everything that I ever wanted and dreamed in this dream? How would it be? How could I shape it? Show me how. And I'll tell you firsthand, it does work when you let go completely. And it's not every day, all day, but those moments where the portal opens and you say, okay, I'm all right, a full receiving mode. I trust my original dog. I trust that love. Show me. And everything just unfolded from there. And yes, there's a screaming, kicking ego in the way that's like, no, 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 I did not plan that. No, 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 this is not what I. And meanwhile, it's unfolded before me. Now, can I line up with it? Can I receive what is unfolding? Because the story that is limiting me is the thing that is limiting me. It's the story I've told myself about what it means, but it doesn't have to mean that if you don't want it to. So what we want, we receive. What we receive, we value. So it's choice, which is great. It's great. It's empowering. It can be easy. It can be. Luna, making it very easy to be messy, sloppy, have fun, full of joy, be moved by the moon, the waters in us. We already know how. Just waking up to remembering that. So thank you
Yeah,
for
that was
unraveling
perfect.
this with us.
A lot of stuff that I feel like I've consciously known or thought about, but just like hearing it in this space, especially as it pertains to the AniMirrors, I feel like it unlocks a lot of different ways I just can approach things. And so I really appreciate the time. And yeah, I love this space, and this has been amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you
thanks for
so much.
coming.
Because, yeah, these stories, and it just gives people that opportunity to reflect. Okay, there's something here. There's something here about, yeah, the box that I've put myself in, the idea of how things should be, right? And then these animals come in and they like, it seems like you're messing it all up, and it's like, no, I'm here to expand you. I'm here to show you something. I'm here to show you where you're being too rigid, where you're living out of alignment with nature, where you are not, living in harmony with your biological code. Like the animals know that best of all. And that truly is like we look at time and rigidity and schedule, and I mean, even corporate life, it's like, ooh, that's a big, if that's a big part of my identity right now, if that's a big part of like, my vision for how things should be, even appropriateness in the neighborhood. It's like, am I being appropriate in the neighborhood? Is everybody happy with me? And I mean, like the animals, these dogs, they bark for a reason. It's like, am I appreciating the alerting that you are programmed to do? Or am I, shush, 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 no, 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 you're disrupting normal subdivision apartment life. And it's like, listen up, this animal is here to shake things up, to show me something. And yes, it's about my readiness. Am I ready to see it? Am I ready to make the changes? Because sometimes it is where we want to kind of keep living the way we've always lived, and the animals just, they're part of this evolution and expansion. And it's a joy and it's a challenge to meet them and to say, okay, yes, I am. I'm ready for you and all that you have to give me. So yeah, thank you so, so, so much for your willingness, because these stories, when people hear them, right, it's like these codes for up leveling. Someone's going to hear something in Winston's story, in Luna, in Taylor, and see, oh, this was for me. And so it's such a gift and a blessing when people have the willingness, like you had, to come on today and just open the doors, open the doors, and just kind of say, okay, what is there to see here? And it's a gift to us all. So thank you.
Yeah, definitely. A lot more to uncover, but I know I'm going to re-listen to this a few times to make sure I, can fully grasp all of what was shared, because yeah, it's very expansive. And yeah, I just really appreciate learning all there is to learn about how those wonderful inner mirrors can just really, again, shepherd us into, where we're meant to go and up level in the right ways.
Couldn't have said it better. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you everyone for listening or watching. This is the live AniMirror experience, and it also happens to be the podcast episode, and we blended it by Taylor's willingness and grace to do this. So you can join us. We have experience of it as it unfolds. And then we have the podcast, obviously, and the course. If you want to dive in more and really blend the German new medicine piece into AniMirror and just weave all the woo-woo and the biology adaptation together, we have a course, and all of it can be found at animirror.com. Anything else, Melissa?
I think that covers everything. Thank you all, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We hope that the messages from today's episode landed with you. Your animal knows, nature knows, your biology knows.
Everything reflects you. Every symptom, sensation, and synchronicity. It's all a mirror.
If you're ready to go deeper, join us inside the full 15-module AniMirror course, or come alive with us in the next AniMirror live experience. You can check animirror.com for upcoming dates.
You can also book a private AniMirror immersion with both of us if you want to dive deeper and more privately. If you wish, contact us at support@animirror.com.
And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the AniMirror podcast on YouTube and Spotify.
Until next time, if you dare to be willing to look into the mirror, we're here.